Girlie, this one is for you. And honestly, it's probably more for me than it is for you, but I just want to get on here and talk today about fear. And I feel like everyone experiences fear, but there's not a whole lot of people who actually talk about fear, about how they felt and how we get over our fear and how we do the things that we want to do, even though we are afraid. So today, I just want to stop letting fear hold me back, and hopefully you take that same challenge, because fear of failure is definitely holding you back. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is what it is. It's just like that, right? So let's get right into it. I'm going to start talking about my experience and how I felt. And I just want to say, when I first came in and I started doing fitness, I was freaked. I was freaked out. And I was just I had the worst imposter syndrome. I felt like I didn't belong. I was I didn't know what I was doing. And this is coming from someone who was an athlete their entire lives. I started running track at 6 years old. I knew what I was doing, but I was just ooh, who am I? Who am I? I passed all my credentials, but I was still oh, I feel like I don't belong. I don't know. It's when I went into my first training session, obviously this is after many months of shadowing, of training, of the best ways to approach people and things of that nature. And I still went in and I was just oh my goodness. It's it hit me all at once. I was I'm responsible for someone's fitness journey right now. I'm responsible for not only that, but their safety in this moment. When you lift heavy weights and things like that, you just really get to this point where you're yeah, if this weight falls on me, I'm gonna be really hurt. So it was I am responsible for this. And I just started to look around and I was just oh no. I was I don't know if I could do this. So I feel we all experience it, even at the highest levels. You could be the best in your industry. You could be the best at your job. You could be the best husband, wife, daughter, son, whatever. And you still experience fear of whatever it is that is fearful for you, because everyone has different fears. What's scary to me is not going to be scary to you, and vice versa. I don't like bugs. That's just one of the I don't like bugs. Some people are oh, I love bugs. I want to know everything about what they're doing. I'm not one of those people. So what is scary for me is not necessarily going to be scary for you. And when it comes to my journey, I was just able, it took a long time, but I was able to get over it. Clearly, as you can see, I'm right here. I'm in your face, right? And it's important. It's important to talk about those things, because I feel especially when you're in fitness, people can think that you have this confidence. You are so sure of yourself. And 9 times out of 10, we just as scared as you. So everybody loves to talk about, gym anxiety. And I feel they think that once you're at a certain level, or once you've been in the gym for a long time, you don't get gym anxiety anymore. That is not true. That is not true. I'm here today to tell you that is not true. I still get gym anxiety, but for me it's different. Now is when I change gyms, or if I go to a gym that I don't know, now I'm ooh, I don't know where all my favorite equipment is. I don't know where the rack is. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a new environment. So now I'm just and I also film my workouts at the gym. So it's where could I go where I can still get my angles, but I'm not all the way in people's way and stuff like that. So it's a different level of anxiety. I know people come in and they're I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to go. I feel the same way when I go to a new gym. If it's not my gym that I go to every single day, if I'm popping up at a different gym, I feel the same level of anxiety. And to be completely transparent, I literally have anxiety. So it's me doing any type of social interactions. To be fair, it's bravery on my part. And that's how I like to look at it, because once you stop putting yourself in this box of I need to be perfect. I need to see perfection. I need to know this. I need to know that. One thing I definitely learned is I do not have all the answers, and it's okay to not have all the answers. Last video I said I believe in Googling. Yeah, Google is free, and me and her is locked in. Okay, we locked in. Ain't no switching up, because how am I supposed to know everything? No. No. So I feel like we put these expectations on ourselves, and that is what fuels our anxiety. That's what fuels our fear. And for so long, I was supposed to be making videos. I was supposed to be on social media. In fact, I was on social media somewhere around like a year or two ago. I was super consistent in posting my videos, super consistent on being online and having that presence. And then a flip switched. As soon as I decided that I was gonna take my life in a different direction, that's when all the fear came in. Because what I was doing before, I was in legal. I went to a pre-law magnet high school, okay? And I knew what I was doing. Legal comes so easy to me because it's just logical thinking. So I knew at all times, like, it's either you do this or you do that. And there's like no in between. There's almost, I won't say there's no gray, but there's almost no gray. So it's very, very easy because my brain just goes, yeah, this or that. Boom, that's it. So I knew what I was doing. And now to go to a space where you're not sure and you have to really lean into yourself and rely on yourself, it is very easy for that fear to come back and just be like, you don't know what you're doing. I don't. That's okay. And just tell you that you are not worthy to be in the space that you're in. But I'm here to tell you that that is a lie, and you are worthy to be where you are. Wherever you're starting, I definitely feel like we cannot be afraid to fail. When we were in grade school, if you're still in like high school or whatever, you fail. There's some times where you fail a test, you fail a quiz, whatever. But as we get older and we become like more adults, there's this place that we get to where we're like, I don't want to fail. And then we start to hold ourselves. We start to pull back more and more of ourselves because we're like, I'm so afraid of failing that now I'm not even gonna do it. I'm just gonna stop where I am right now. And I'd rather just stay here than risk it and fail. And that's complacency. And when you get complacent, it's very easy to just be like, I'm content where I am right now. But in everything in life, and especially in fitness, you have to be pushing yourself to another level. Push. And when you get complacent, you're not pushing anymore. You're content to stay on the level where you're at. And that's not where you grow. Where you grow is in that uncomfortable zone, that uncomfortable feeling that you feel. That's where you start to grow. That's where things start to change for you. And I can tell you right now, 2 years ago, this is not a video that I would make. I could not see myself sitting here and talking about my fear or my anxiety or anything like that, because I was going through it. I was still trying to figure out like what it is, like how does it make me now? Like, who am I because of this? And once I got to this level where I'm like, I don't have to be defined by these things. I don't have to let them define me. Now I'm more free to be who I actually am. And that's why I can come and just say, it's fear of failure that held me back. And I don't want the same thing to happen to you. So here I am to tell you about it, right? And especially in the gym, it can be hard to take that first step. That first step that's like, I'm gonna go to the gym even 2 days a week, right? You're like, I'm gonna go to the gym 2 days a week. You get there and you start to feel the anxiety. You're like, ooh, I don't wanna go in. You got everything, you're ready to go. But you're still in the car and you're like, I don't know if I should go in. I don't know. And some people, they end up turning back around and they go home. But the day that you take that step and you're like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do this workout, I promise you, you feel 100% better. And then you come back another day and you do the same thing. You come in, you get it done. Now, after you start to come more consistency, there's people you see all the time, right? They start to ask for you. They're like, where were you on this day? Why did you come in? And now you have that community of accountability where before you couldn't take that first step and you were afraid to just come in. And now you're starting to enjoy it because now there's people there who you enjoy. And the more you enjoy something, I say all the time, the more you're gonna do it. So now you see that consistency, and not only that, it's starting to show on the way your clothes fit, you're losing weight, you're becoming stronger. So, and I get so excited talking about this topic because in everything, it's once you take that first step, everything starts to snowball. You start to become more confident in yourself, and confidence can't be bought. And it's so important to be confident in yourself and to just stand on who you are. And for me personally, I don't think I would have gotten to that level if it wasn't for also my Jesus journey. I like to call it, I'm deep in my Jesus bag. And, if you're not deep in your Jesus bag, that's literally okay. But for me, that is what helped me find my confidence because, again, I like to say 2 years ago, it was a different girl. And so I am going to just share 2 verses on fear that I always loved and that always helped me. And I am going to share it from my iPad because I only have King James version of the Bible in my house. And I know that the King James version it's a little much for some people, but I love the King James version of the Bible. So I'm going to share just 2 verses on fear. The first one is Isaiah 41:10, and I'm reading it in the ESV version because it's a little bit more easy to read. But Isaiah 41:10 ESV, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I have that verse on my mirror in my bathroom. It's on a sticky note, and I read it because every day I just need to just tell myself like, hey, you're not alone in this, especially considering like I come from a Christian background. I'm not alone in this. I'm never alone in this. And I don't have to be afraid of what my next step may be. And my second verse is 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, again ESV. For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. So think of this in the gym, not of fear, right? I come into the gym, but of power, I'm strong. Of love, I can be loving to people who I don't know. I can be kind to strangers in the gym. And I do help with form if I see it, and I ask first. I'm not that person, guys. I'm not that person. I ask first. I'm like, hey, do you want the help? If you don't want the help, I'm gone, right? I'll spot people in the gym like who need help lifting a heavy weight, especially women. I love to see my women lifting heavy in the gym. And then self-control. It takes discipline to be on a fitness journey. You have to be consistent. You have to come in every day. And if you're not coming in, if it's your rest day, you have to be eating well on your rest days. You have to be disciplined. You have to be self-controlled when your friends are going out and they're like, hey, we're gonna get this huge pizza and we're gonna get ice cream and chocolate and this, that, da, 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 da. And you know that you're in a caloric deficit. You're like, I'd love to, but even if I do come, I'm not gonna be eating that. I'm gonna eat something else. I'll bring my own food. I've meal prepped something already, right? So I love that the Bible can be used in different areas of your life. It's not just your relationship with God, it's your relationship with other people. It's your relationship with yourself and how you can move going forward. I just love those 2 verses, especially because they say so much in those verses, especially about how you can go forward in fear. The next thing I want to talk about is when you are fearful, you don't end up doing what you want to do. So again, 2 years to come back to social media and to do what I actually wanted to be doing this entire time, because I was afraid. I was so paralyzed with fear that I did nothing. And that is not good, right? But I can understand it. I give myself grace because of it. I didn't expect myself to know everything, and that's okay. But I did come back. I did make sure that I had the ability to come back and do what I love, which is to help people become their best selves. And I'm still on my journey. I like to say I'm not fully formed yet, because I'm not. And I can only continue to push myself. My favorite quote in fitness is become 1% better each day. And that's where the consistency is. If you come to the gym, you're not giving 100% every single day. Some days you're sore, some days you're tired. If you have children, especially, you can be really, really drained from the day at work. You can be drained from coming from whatever family event or whatever it is that you do. Like, anything it may not be your day, right? So when you get to the gym, just getting there, I always say this, just getting there is half the battle. So if you came in and you gave a 50% workout that day, that's something. The next day you gave 100% workout. The next day you give a 20%, a 30% workout. You're there. That consistency, not only does it make you keep up your promise to yourself, it also starts to switch those habits. Now, if I don't go to the gym, I feel like I didn't do anything, right? If I don't go outside and walk, I feel like I didn't do anything. And it's because I've gotten to that point where I do something every day. It may not be going to the gym every day, but I may be doing something active every day. So now I'm just like, all right, I definitely need to be doing something every day. So when you get to that point and you stay consistent, you're not just keeping yourself together, you're keeping a promise that you made to just be consistent and to show up for yourself. 1% better, that's all you need. That is all you need. And my last thing is confidence, believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, it's very, very hard to get to where you want to be. Because you have to take the chance on yourself for other people to take the chance on you. They're tied together. So if I take a chance on myself, I start my business, and now I'm being consistent in the gym, and now I'm saying other people, hey, I can help you in the gym. I had to take that chance first on me in order to be able to help someone else. So you have to take that chance on yourself. Whatever dream you have, I always say that the vision, the dream, the plan, it's not given to you for no reason. It's given to you so that you can see ahead, because we always see it at the end goal, right? We always see it at the end. So now, when you see it at the end, you start to backtrack. You start to say, hey, how can I, from where I am right now, start taking those steps to get to that end goal that I'm seeing in my head? So when you match up the vision, when you match up the plan to where you are now, you start to take those steps. You start to try to shed that fear and just be like, I am going to do this, because if I can do something that makes me happy, that brings me joy, and that's like end goal, right? End goal is it's making me, I'm successful, I'm happy, I'm at peace, I'm helping people. And worst case scenario is that I fail. Look at all that space in between. If I even land in the middle, I feel successful because I didn't fall. And even if I fail, I take it and I keep moving. I bring it into the next phase, because failure is not the end. Failure to me is a beginning. You get back up and you continue on with your next step. So I definitely feel like there is so much that can be said, but hopefully just those points has helped you even a little bit. And my last thing that I want to touch on is when I was feeling my imposter syndrome, when I was feeling that, and don't get me wrong, it does come back here and there. It comes back. It circles the block, all right? It spins the block, comes back. It's like, hey, let me just see where she at, like an ex. Circles back, like, hey, hey. But lost my train of thought. But it was one day I was doing my Bible study, because I do my Bible studies in the morning, and I was in Matthew. So I was reading the Bible, and God just said to me, remember Moses, because I was literally in my head about this video. And he was like, remember Moses. And I was like, he was like, did I not call Moses? And I was just like, feeling like I just can't do this. I was like, who am I to just be speaking on fear, da 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 da. But I'm experiencing fear, so yeah, I can speak on fear. And if you don't know the story of Moses, Moses was Israelite that was, it was around the time when they were in Egypt, they were in captivity, and they were trying to kill off the Egyptians by killing the male sons, because, you know, without the males, they can't continue the line. And Moses' mother put him in a basket and put him up the river, and just so happens, but it's not just so happens, because nothing in the Bible is by chance, but Pharaoh's daughter found him in the basket, so she took him into the palace and she hid him, and she raised him as her own son. And growing up, Moses was in the palace. He was a prince of Egypt, even though he was an Israelite, right? And there was one day he accidentally killed a man, and from that he started to feel unworthy. So by the time God comes around to call him, God is coming to him in a burning bush, and he says, hey, I want you to go to Pharaoh and say, let my people go. And I just want to say something right here. I would just put a minute in this. I just think to myself, if I was Moses and God, first of all, the bush is burning, but it's not burning, right? It's on fire, but it's not burning. And then there's a voice coming out the bush, and it's like, hey, take off your shoes. This is holy ground. Okay, all right. And then it's like, hey, I need you to go to the king and tell him, I need you to let my people go. I would have been looking around like, hey, gotta be somebody else around here that they talking to, you feel me? It gotta be somebody else around here. And Moses was like, oh, I got a stutter. I'm not worthy. All this stuff. He's like, what about Aaron, my brother? Call Aaron. You know, he speaks well. He's a good speaker. God was like, I didn't call Aaron. I called you. And I love to say, God got bangers. God got bangers, all right? And he's like, I didn't call Aaron. I called you. And so God just said that to me. He's like, did I not qualify Moses? And that's what got me. That's what got me. He was like, you can feel unworthy. You can feel unqualified. There are so many biblical characters that felt unworthy, felt unqualified for the job that God had tasked them with, but they still did it. I'm sure they felt fear. I'm sure they felt fear, but they still did it. And once you take that step out, your life changes in a way that you can't even imagine. So all you gotta do is take the first step. And that's where I'm gonna end it. All you gotta do is take the first step. Don't let fear be the thing that holds you back from your dream, that holds you back from a relationship, that holds you back from anything. Because there is so much to be afraid of in life, but as long as you are living your life in a way that you can feel proud at the end of the day, you said, I took that risk and it may not have worked out for me, but I learned from it, and then I took another risk and then it worked out for me. How awesome is that? And I'm gonna wrap it up, because in everything in life, there's some risk involved, there's some fear involved. You may fail, take that failure as a lesson, but just know that with that risk can come a great reward. And so if you're risking it in the gym, you're like, I don't know if I can start this journey, start that journey. In 3 to 6 months, I promise you, by the end, you'll be like, wow, I can't believe that this is the change that I've made in my life. You start that business, 3 to 6 months, you're like, wow, I'm really learning so much about not only myself, but about this business, this industry, and I'm becoming successful. So go after it, go after your dreams. I am so excited to just encourage you to do that. And thank you for listening to me talk about fear, especially considering I feel it all the time. And I hope that I've helped you in your fitness journey, in your relationships, and sometimes even with your walk with Christ. Be blessed and have a great day. Bye. I'm old.